Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Let's take a look at the headlines. Minister praises Nelson Island reenactment. Corpus Christi tree planting at St. Barbara's Shouter Baptist School. And communities across Trinidad and Tobago celebrate Indian culture for Arrival Day. In our top story, the rains did not stop the sterling performance for the reenactment of Indian arrival on Nelson Island. School children who came out to witness this historical event enjoyed the performance but could not tour the island due to the heavy rain showers. Minister of National Diversity and Social Integration, the Honorable Clifton Decoto, praised the actors and the cast members and all stakeholders involved who contributed to its tremendous success. After hosting several performances on the island, it was the school children's turn to witness this historic reenactment.
Do you know where you're going today? Where are you going? Nelson Island, yes. And you are going by airplane? No, you're going by boat.
However, the rain showers would dampen their chances to even set foot on the island for the much anticipated tour. However, this was not a deterrent for the professionals of the Irie Theatre Production Company Limited. The reenactment, which initially started out at sea with the arrival of the indentures on a pirogue, had to be done on the pier. Due to the inclement weather, it would be too dangerous for the actors to go out on the sea. However, they would not disappoint the eager children who came to see the reenactment. Nurses with fumigation cans await the arrival of the laborers on Nelson Island. The cast then reenacted the arrival of Indians who sailed to shore on the Fata Rozak off Nelson Island. Their contracts were then read to them by the protector of the immigrants.
After 5 years, you will be free.
Then they were taken to the registration area that was used for administration so that all indented laborers could be well documented before transfer to the estates. This teacher told us the reason why she brought her students to witness the reenactment. She says they now have a better understanding of where their parents came from and how they lived.
One of the reasons, there are many reasons I brought the students. One is for them to get the experience of traveling out of the Claxton Bay area because most of them have never been to Chaguaramas. And also, in addition to being part of the curriculum, educational, it also it's socio-cultural also because they will understand where their ancestors came from. And as our village, that is the village of Macaulay, is mostly an East Indian village. And their parents worked in the cane plantations.
Minister of Diversity and Social Integration, Clifton Decoto, congratulated the actors, the team and all those who worked collectively to make this project a reality. The minister says it is a tremendous opportunity for domestic tourism, and the Minister of Tourism, Stephen Cadiz, has indicated his willingness to work alongside the Ministry of National Diversity.
I actually saw young people and old people crying, right? You know, they just felt, you know, the actors and the actresses were able to bring out that thing, and you could have seen that emotion, right? I think it was a commendable effort, and I think that the Irie Theatre must be complimented for a very good effort on their part. And I think all persons involved, the trust, the reenactment committee, they all should be really be congratulated.
This reenactment forms a key component of the ministry's mandate to recognize and celebrate our nation's diverse ancestry, as well as raise national and international awareness of the rich history of Nelson Island and its impact on our citizenry. The St. Barbara's Shouter Baptist School, opened a little over a year now, held its first beautification project, a tree planting ceremony just in time for Corpus Christi. But the aim of the project is more than beautifying the school surroundings, but teaching pupils the lessons of giving life back.
Corpus Christi here in Trinidad and Tobago is associated with the traditions of planting trees, and the recently opened St. Barbara's Spiritual Shouter Baptist Primary School joined in the opportunity by holding its tree planting ceremony. But before the students engaged in the planting of trees, pupils together with teachers gave thanks for the plants. Archbishop Ashton Clark drew the significance the Tree of Life held in the Bible and compared it to the lives of children.
Today, as we plant these trees, I want us to use it and reminiscent of the children in the school, for the teachers and all the parents and all of us to know that we are planting these children also to come into this world so that they will be able to grow with the love of God, grow with discipline, grow with moral values and standards, so that when they grow older, we can look at them and say, this is a product of St. Barbara's Spiritual Baptist School.
In creating its own Garden of Eden, the school of mostly young pupils got a chance to learn about giving life to other living organisms. As Miss Roseanne Rondon, Standard 5 teacher, explains, the ceremony represents giving back to Mother Earth.
As we are a new school, we want to bring growth and life to the school. So bringing the trees in is part of that process. The reason why we bless in the ground, right? We feed it with dry food and milk and honey and all of these goodness, because we are paying homage to Mama Letta, who is the mother of the earth. So before we wouldn't just plant it just like that. We are giving an offering unto her so that she will receive it and accept it and have a place here on this compound.
School supervisor and former principal Osborne Wilcox urged the pupils to keep the compound clean at all times.
I want to compliment the children on keeping the compound as clean and as beautiful as it is. I know that you all enjoy coming to school here. I pass every day on my way to and from the office, and I'm always seeing activity, and this is good. The whole idea of making the school a bit more beautiful is for you, the children, to enjoy, to want to come to school, to get up every morning and tell mommy and daddy, even though you might be feeling sick, that you still have to go to school. Because coming here must be not only a place of refuge, but a very significant place of learning.
From fruit trees such as mango and pomera, to floral plants like Zora and Pui, to pine and almond, the students were filled with excitement to know that later on, these same trees will serve as a source of shelter, shade and food.
Planting the trees means to me to beautify the school, and when anybody come to the school, they think the tree is pretty and nice, and God can make the trees get bigger and bigger.
We have mango trees to plant in the back, we have pomerac trees to plant, and a lot of other trees.
To beautify the place, like every time when you pray, like the plants them will grow, and as we grow, the plants grow with us, and after when people come in the school, look at the plants, and the plants will keep growing and growing and growing.
Kimberly Calawan, News 4.
When we come back, celebrations commemorating Indian Arrival Day. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. After almost 2 centuries of East Indian presence in Trinidad and Tobago, the cultures and customs of the immigrants continue to remain relevant and significant to the lives of the national community.
The Rienzi complex in Couva came alive to the sweet songs of Indian classical music, which brought together veteran singers and young singers alike for the cultural explosion. In commemoration of Indian Arrival Day 2013, the Indian Cultural and Development Organization, in collaboration with the Indian Classical Singers and Drummers Association and under the patronage of the Honourable Member of Parliament for Couva South, the Grand Exhibition Classical Singing event was put on. In attendance were several government ministers, including Housing, Land and Marine Affairs Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal, who recounted his time attending similar events at the Rienzi complex.
It was in the late 1980s when I worked at the Rienzi complex that we assembled at this venue every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday for this very art form, Indian classical singing. And our forefathers in the trade union movement and in politics, the Honorable Basdev Pandey, John Humphrey, Trevor Sudama, and the late great Kelvin Ramnath, when they invested in the Rienzi complex, when they built this venue over a generation ago, their vision was that one day you, the children and grandchildren of the sugar industry, would come here and enjoy this wonderful culture that is on offer.
Minister Munilal noted that East Indians have made several significant contributions to the development of Trinidad and Tobago. He expressed his confidence in the upkeep of the East Indian culture, especially the preservation of Indian classical music.
I was shocked when I came here to see so much of you and to see so many young people here to support a particular art form that many people believe is dying. Many people believe that Indian classical singing, its treasure, its past, is really its greatest time. But I want to say that after seeing you today, I am confident that the future of Indian classical singing and this art form is in excellent hands.
Several artists received awards for their contributions to the art form and the active stance they took to ensure it was well respected and appreciated.
We can never really pay true tribute to all those whom are singing here this evening, those whom have led this art form and pioneered it and kept it alive.
The cultural evening also served as a tribute to the former Member of Parliament for Couva South.
The late Honourable Kelvin Ramnath, whom played a pivotal role during his tenureship as Member of Parliament for Couva South, using his political influence and even within his work area to use and get the support from Petrotrin and corporate sponsors and so on to keep this art form. So we must never forget the contribution that Kello, the late Kelvin Ramnath, made to this art form too.
Minister Indar Singh said the evening was a gift not only to the constituents but also to the Indo-Trinidadian community and the people of Trinidad and Tobago, courtesy the Honourable Prime Minister and Government. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Indian Arrival Day celebrations in Couva and residents come out in their numbers to take part in the entertainment or to take in the entertainment. MPs for the area, the Honourable Ramona Ramdial and Rudranath Indar Singh, took the opportunity to remind citizens of the true meaning of Arrival Day.
Indian Arrival Day was commemorated in the Couva district when MPs for both North and South constituencies came together for celebrations. The event saw residents take in live entertainment from Tassa music to dancing. But Minister Ramona Ramdial, MP for Couva North, spoke to the residents on what Indian Arrival Day meant to citizens as a nation.
It's not about East Indian Arrival Day, but it's really about Arrival Day for all of our peoples of Trinidad and Tobago. We have been a very few society of lately, and we have all been moving towards developed status as a country. We have had many prominent East Indian icons over the years contribute to the development. In music, we have seen the rise of Sundar Popo, For food and culture, we have seen the rise of different geographical areas contributing to our fusion. And we have known that of the curry duck and dal puri dish that has become widely popular because of course, our ancestors and their influence in our food and culture. We have also been able as a people to contribute to very high work ethics in Trinidad and Tobago. We are a very productive and efficient, forward-moving group of citizens living in Trinidad and Tobago.
Couva South MP Rujanath Indar Singh describes the day as one celebrating the diversity of Trinidad and Tobago.
In terms of the tremendous sacrifices that would have been made by our forefathers to ensure that there was the survival of the cultural dimension, the social dimension, the religious dimension, in terms of what the East Indian community has added to the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago from the point of view of what we would term to be Trinidad and Tobago being this rainbow nation, this diverse society, and taking into consideration that our Honorable Prime Minister, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, had the vision to create a Ministry of Diversity and Social Integration to mold the cohesion, mold the different communities to ensure that we have a productive Trinidad and Tobago.
In the end, residents took in some sweet rhythmic tasso beats, much to their delight. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
More news after the break. Welcome back. Students of the UTT Performing Arts School at the South Campus got a chance to showcase their talent as the school came together with the Indian High Commission to produce an evening of culture in its Yatra concert titled A Journey of the People in the celebration of Indian Arrival Day 2013.
The Journey of People, a cultural showcase, featured students from UTT's Performing Arts School in its annual Cultural Yatra concert titled A Journey of the People in celebration of Indian Arrival Day 2013. Classical dance from India was featured along with traditional Indian music. The concert, held in collaboration with the Indian High Commission, gave patrons a depiction of the cultural fusion that has taken place here in Trinidad and Tobago, with the coming together of peoples from across the world to form what is now known as a cosmopolitan mix. Students from the Indian Classical Dance School at UTT recreated classical Indian folk dance. The evening also reproduced a mini Sammelan as classical bhajans were sung in unison with the musical notes from the instruments, the tabla and the harmonium. Well-known classical dancers Susan Mohip and Arti Nata joined with the students for a most colorful choreographed number depicting the diversity of our nation. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
Anglicans in Trinidad and Tobago celebrated the 190th anniversary of dedication of one of the country's oldest landmarks, the Trinity Cathedral. Members of the church gathered for the rededication service and were reminded of their own recommitment to the body of Christ.
In 1797, the British brought their religion to Trinidad, and the brigade chaplain to the forces, Reverend J.H. Clapham, became the first Church of England rector in Trinidad. But it would be in 1823 the Church of England in Trinidad, Reverend Clapham was joined by Reverend George Cummings, and in that year the Trinity Church was consecrated. 190 years after, the cathedral has been restored and is now being rededicated. Playing a pivotal role as the head church of the Anglican community, the Trinity Cathedral also stands as a national treasure. On the service to mark this anniversary, former and retired Bishop Royal Doglin, in his message, described the rededication as not only as a recommitment of the Port of Spain Church, but as one for the entire diocese in Trinidad and Tobago.
And this feast of the dedication of the cathedral is a festival not only for Port of Spain, but it is a festival for the whole diocese in every parish today. There should be a celebration of the Eucharist using the propers of the dedication of a church.
After the original building was destroyed in a fire in 1908, the church was rebuilt in its present location with help from the British government. The foundation stone was laid on Trinity Sunday in 1916, and the church magnificently reflects Georgian and Gothic architecture and was consecrated on May 25, 1923. Bishop Doglin reminded the congregation gathered for the dedication the significance the 25th of each month held to the diocese, and called on them to commemorate this day of prayer.
Against the 25th, you will find that note, Diocesan Day of Prayer. It is a reminder of today. And I should like us, if we have lapsed in that practice, to begin afresh, to use that day each month as a continuous day of prayer.
He reminded parishioners of the true cornerstone of the church.
This temple, the word that is used a lot in the New Testament, this temple is a place of prayer. And we call this a church because the church gathers here. It is we who have been baptized into Christ. It is we who are the church. And we refer to this space by extension as the church. and you will see the association of the stones being referred to as living stones, with Jesus as the cornerstone or the capstone.
Meanwhile, cultural icon and Trinity Cross recipient, the late Pat Bishop, together with former Dean Nolly Clark, were among several persons honored at the event. Kimberly Calawan, News 4.
And that story brings us to the end of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Thank you for watching.